Okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K Collector, and it has been an exciting weekend. I hope that you've been able to enjoy your weekend and that you've been able to get out there and pick up some great games, find some amazing finds, and most importantly, hopefully you've had a chance to play some of your favorite video games. And playing video games is an amazing thing. I once heard Elon Musk say how he uses video games to kind of relax himself, to kind of free his mind, to kind of decompress. And I would like to think that that's how a lot of us use video games, because they take us through a journey. And that's what I wanted to talk about on this cool sunny Sunday afternoon. I wanted to talk about the hero's journey and the emotional impact and connection that it creates between us, the game player, and the games that we're playing. But in order to understand that, we have to first understand what exactly the hero's journey is. And the hero's journey can really be broken down into 12 stages or phases. And the funny part about this is that the hero's journey that we see in a lot of the games that we play kind of mirror or mimic the hero's journey that we live throughout our own lives. And so it's really interesting when you start to think about these 12 stages and how they impact us, especially when we're playing some of the games that we play. So when we look at stage 1, it's really that call to adventure, right? It's the moment in time where we recognize how mundane our lives are, how stagnant we feel. And out of nowhere, we receive this call to adventure, this call to do something that we've never really done before, something that might have a major impact on our lives or the lives of many others. And then you have stage 2, which is the refusal to follow that call, right? So you understand that there's an adventure just around the bend, but we're reluctant to do it. Maybe it's something that we've tried before in the past. Maybe it's a journey that we've attempted, or maybe it's a journey that we've seen other people attempt, and we're like, you know what, I've seen so many fail, so I'm not even gonna try. And so we refuse that call to embark on that journey. But then we hit stage 3, where we meet a mentor who might take us through that stage. And a mentor can come in many ways, right? We can meet a mentor in real life. It might be a family member, a friend. It could be a coach, a teacher. It could be a coworker, maybe your boss. And usually in the video game, it's usually like a wizard, or it's a genie, or it's this fairy, or it's someone that just comes out of nowhere. And this mentor usually possesses the knowledge, the experience. They've seen how some of these journeys play out before, and they can give us some key insight to help us along the way. And then we have that point where we hit stage 4, where we cross the threshold, where we finally buy into the call, buy into the journey, and we leave everything that we know behind. We say goodbye to the mundane. We say goodbye to the routine, and we decide, you know what, we are going to go ahead and we're going to embark on this journey. But sometimes going on that journey means that you have to leave some things behind, maybe leave some friends behind, maybe leave some old habits behind, to get out and go on this journey. And then once we're out there, we hit stage 5. Stage 5 is the tests that we face, the allies that we make, and the enemies that we face, right? So, and we see this all the time in video games. Once you get out there and you get out on that journey, you're immediately tested, probably with the lower level NPCs and the lower level enemies that we have to fight. And then we make allies along the way. Those are the NPCs that give us the potions and the medicine, and they kind of steer us in the direction to go. But even in real life, we face those tests. We face the haters. We face the people who doubt us, the people who say that the journey that we're embarking on is a waste of time and we're never going to get there, and it's something that we're never going to be able to accomplish. But those allies that we make along the way kind of balance that out, and we're able to get to stage 6, which is where we approach the greatest challenge. And usually when we get to this stage, this is the stage where we're facing our greatest fear. And that greatest fear can come in many stages. A lot of times in the game, it could be, who knows, right? There's so many games that follow this hero's journey. But for you personally, that greatest fear could be the fear of failure. It could be the fear of being rejected. It could be the fear of not being good enough, or maybe trying and failing, maybe taking that test and maybe you don't pass. But we all hit that stage where we face that fear. But then we hit stage 7, right? And stage 7 is the point where we actually reach that obstacle in the midst of the fear. That is our major test. This is the thing that tells us, that lets us know, okay, if we can get past this obstacle, we just might have a chance to make it through the journey. And again, that obstacle can come in many forms. It can come in many shapes. And we've seen that obstacle come at so many points in the game. But we push forward, right? And this is something that we have to overcome in order to move forward in the story. But once we're able to pass that, right, beat that obstacle, we get to the next stage. And this stage is a stage where we gain knowledge, we gain insight, or we gain that powerful object that gives us the next level of power, that allows us to do things that we've never done before. And I think that, you know, we've seen this so many times. We've even seen it in movies, right? We saw it in The Matrix, right? We hit that point. Neo hit that point where he realized he had to overcome a fear. He had to overcome, and I think that's probably the point in the movie where he knew he had to go and save Morpheus. He knew that he was the one to go out there and rescue Morpheus. And it wasn't until he stepped out and he overcame that obstacle of fear was where he was able to do the infamous bullet dodge. And that became the scene that changed movies forever. But once we do that and we gain that insight and we gain that power that helps us move further along in the journey, now we have to take a road back, right? Now we have to circle back and go back, follow the road back that forces us to face even more tests, more challenges, and we go through even more trials that force us to use that insight that we gained. It forces us to use some of that courage that we built up in overcoming that obstacle. And then we finally hit probably the most crucial stage in the hero's journey, which is the rebirth. Now, we can be reborn in a number of ways, and that can happen both physically, that can happen metaphorically, it can happen mentally, it can happen spiritually. And I love to use The Matrix because I recently watched like all the Matrix movies. So forgive me if I'm all matrixing out this video here. But I think the point in Neo's rebirth was when he actually was, deleted by Smith. That last scene in the first movie where he opens the apartment door, room 303, and Smith unloads a few rounds into him, and Neo is gone for a second. But thanks to Trinity, he's reborn. And when he's reborn in an entirely new way, and in a way that allows him to see the world differently. He's no longer looking through the lens of just the human eye. Now he's seeing the Matrix in code. He's seeing the world in code. And I think this happens when we actually slay ourselves, right? And that can be in a number of ways. If you've been working out and you finally hit that weight goal, or you finally are able to lift that, that certain amount of weight that you've been wanting to lift before, and you feel reborn. It happens in video games all the time. Once you achieve and receive all that armor, once you get all the power-ups, I like to think about it, if you're playing Mega Man X, once you're able to get all the key pieces of his armor that allows you to do the supercharged blast, and that allows you to do the double dash in the air, once as Mega Man you achieve all that armor and you're reborn into the full version of Mega Man X, it's almost like there's no Reploid that can stop you, right? And then you get to that next stage where you return home, right? And you bring all of the powers, all of the insight, all of everything that you've learned and everything that you've gained, you bring that with you back home, and now you're able to share it with the community. You're able to better the lives of those around you. You're able to share it with your family, with your community. And then you hit that last stage, which is freedom. Freedom from all the things that held you back before you even decided to embark on the journey, and take that step and go out there and do something different. And I really don't know what possessed me to come up with this video today. I think it's just because it's a combination of probably some of the games that I've been playing, along with some of the movies that I've been watching, but also more importantly, the journey that I'm on, right? For many of you who follow the channel, you know that I set out on a goal to lose about 25 to 30 pounds, and I'm down 20. I've been able to get down to roughly, I've been able to lose roughly between 23 and 25. And over the last week, I gained some of that back. And it's a little discouraging when when you see how much progress you've made, but then you take a step back and you find yourself eating a pint of ice cream and a bunch of sugary pretzels, and you see your body, you see yourself physically losing the gains that you made, and then it impacts you mentally, and you start to doubt it all, and you're like, you know what, to hell with all of it. Give me the bag of chips. Let me gain all the weight. But that's the important part about the hero's journey. You can never give up. You can never stop. And you don't want to stop until you're finally reborn, and until you hit that goal where you now have achieved a level that allows you to not only improve yourself, but improve those around you. And I kind of just wanted to share this today, man. If you're playing some games out there, if you're getting down in some of the video games, think about some of the games you're playing and kind of apply it to your own life. Life is a game. I've said it so many times before that life is a game, and it's a game that you have to play. And when you play it, you got to play it to win. But I think if you're willing to follow the call to adventure, if you're willing to face the fears, if you've got the fortitude to overcome the obstacles, I think you can be reborn and find that space where you're able to improve not only your life, but the life of those around you. And that's just a little message that I had for you all here on a Sunday afternoon. Like I said, hopefully you're finding some of those games that you want. Hopefully you're able to get out there and source some great new rare titles. Maybe you're looking for stuff for the PS2, PS3, Xbox 360. I know that's super popular right now. But no matter what it is, hopefully you had a great weekend, and hopefully most importantly, you got to spend some time with family. I'm the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.